Hi everyone, I'm Catherine, aka the High Hill Gamer, and welcome to the Late Night Nerd Show. I'm super excited for you guys to watch the interview that I just had with Drew Edwards. Hi everyone, I am here with Drew Edwards, creator, award winner, which I'm like super excited about, of Halloween Man, among
Howdy.
other things as well. So, how are you doing today, Drew?
Well, I'm always tired these days because, as we were discussing before, you pressed record. I live with a baby these days, so on top of all the duties of being a comic book writer and some with the creator-owned book and everything, I am constantly doing child rearing, which is also exhausting. But I put her to work today actually when I was out doing street team stuff and taking posters to bookstores so people could order the book that we're going to be talking about. The owner of this indie bookstore, shout out Birdhouse Bookstore, Austin, Texas. uh she was so charmed by Luna, my daughter, that she ordered 4 copies of the book on the
Oh,
spot. So I was like, good work, finally earning your
yeah.
keep.
Your little marketing sales lady right there.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
awesome.
you've heard of Booth Babes. She
Yeah,
will be my Booth baby. So
that's great. That's amazing. And I mean, who can resist? She's so adorable, super cute. So,
she gets
um,
all that from Jamie. I
oh
don't take credit. I as I often say, I look like someone ordered Wolverine on Temu.
no, no, stop, True, no. But you are an award winner. You just won an award. Tell the folks all about your exciting trip to San Diego Comic Con.
Well, so I w- so full disclosure, having kids is expensive, and on top of being a comic book creator, I have been driving for Uber at nights, to make that little bit of extra greenback, extra moolah. I got no problem admitting that. I can hear somewhere like at my agent saying, don't talk about that, don't talk about that. But so while I was driving, and I literally had a guy in the back of my car, I get a phone call from a California phone number, and I almost never pick up the phone while I'm driving. I just think
Mhm.
it's tacky. But it come up on the Bluetooth. It said San Diego, California. So for some reason, I picked it up, and there's a woman on the other line, and she says, "Comic Con International for Drew Edwards. Is this Drew Edwards speaking?" And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, why is Comic-Con International calling me? And then in the back, suddenly, just as a reminder that there's somebody in my car, why is San Diego Comic-Con calling you? The guy, and I'm like, oh God, I forgot. I'm driving for Uber. And very quickly, I say, hey, can I call you back in like 10 minutes? Like I blame it on the baby, because that's what you do. I said,
Of course,
but
I still do.
yeah, my baby's crying. I got to calm her down. And the guy is now on his phone, and he's like looking me up. He's like, why are you driving for Uber? You're famous. What are you doing? And I'm like, making comics is not, I'm not exactly rolling around in like,
Yeah.
you know, Elon Musk money or whatever. So finally, I get back on the line, and they were asking me to go to San Diego Comic Con and do a panel um, on the 25th anniversary of Halloween Man at San Diego Comic Con, which of course I said yes, a resounding yes, with the thought in my head that I would go there and I would be talking to an empty room, because
Oh
yeah,
no.
yeah. But it was not like that at all. I was in what they were calling the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hall, because they had the Ninja Turtles panel there, and it set 300 people. I didn't have exactly 300 people, but I had a mostly full room, which I was excited to say.
I
And
believe it.
I was up against the Eisner Awards were happening at the same time. Um, I did not go to the Eisner Awards. So there's a lot of confusion because I this is how impulsive I am. So after my panel was over, some friends of mine kind of gate crashed the Eisner party after the Eisner Awards after party. And there was somebody that had their Eisner award and they were walking around with it. And I said, "Hey, can I hold that?" And I held it and I took a picture of me holding it and I put it up on my Instagram. And of course, now there's a bunch of people who think that I won
Congrats.
Eisner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
But your caption says like manifesting or wishing willingness to
manifesting.
manifesting. So I was
Yeah,
like, well, let me help with the manifestation. Congratulations. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I don't know how many
Well,
people actually read the caption and like understand that it's like
I felt kind
not
of bad
yours.
afterward. I felt kind of bad afterwards. I was not trying to mislead anybody,
Yeah.
but it was cool to hold one in my hands. And who knows? Who knows?
And I mean, now you
Maybe
have the picture and you can put it on your vision board and will it into existence.
like
Will
that.
it,
This is
yeah,
my
just like that,
willing
just like that.
pose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just like
like
that.
you will it into existence, like
Yeah.
Aquaman talking to a giant
Yes, yes,
starfish.
exactly. Just like,
Yeah,
yeah, willing
there
it
we go.
out there. So, yeah.
Hmm.
But I mean, that was one of my. I didn't even know you went to San Diego Comic Con, and like when I first saw the picture, I was like, "Oh my god! Like he won! Like that's amazing!" And then I saw the caption, and I was like, "Oh, he didn't, but he's got one in his hand. Like, okay, I love this
It
storyline for him."
it was heavy too. Like it felt like it felt like because like I do have some awards, but
Mhm.
they're I don't know what it is about it, but a Best of Austin award is more of like a placard.
Okay.
And there's just something about an award that's a statue that feels
Mhm.
more like
Like you're holding
classy,
an
I guess.
Oscar or an
Yeah,
Emmy.
exactly, exactly. So maybe one day, if you are angry with me on social media because of that, sorry. But you can take into account immediately after being at San Diego Comic Con for 4 days and going home. I got exactly 1 day to rest up, and then I was out driving for Uber until 2 in the morning. And
Yeah.
drunk people are still rude to me. So it doesn't matter how famous I am in the
It
comic book
doesn't.
world. Somebody that is leaving a Austin honky tonk at 2 a.m. They don't care. They're just like, why is this guy with mutton chops throwing me attitude, and telling me I shouldn't vomit on his seat. And
No.
yeah,
But I mean, that also goes to show people you should read the caption because if you read the caption, you would have seen manifesting. So
manifesting. Read the whole post,
yeah,
people.
yeah, exactly. But I had to bring that up because when I saw the picture only, and I was like, oh my god, he won. And then I saw the
You weren't
like,
alone. And I do feel bad. But and in fact, for the rest of the weekend, everybody kept introducing me as Eisner Award winner Drew Edwards.
I should have
Just
done that. I should have
yeah,
done
there
that.
you
I should
go.
have
Yeah, yeah.
read.
Um,
So what was your panel on? What was the topic on your panel?
it was on Halloween Man. It was on the
Just
25th.
Halloween Man
Just
itself, not like
Halloween Man.
every.
That is
Okay.
it. There were so it was um Moni Barrett from Creators Assemble was the moderator and did an amazing job. And there were Lisa Burdage and John Hazard, who do background noise, an amazing webcomic, who are big fans of Halloween Man. They were on it, as well as April Guadiana, who has been the art director on Halloween Man forever. And they were my panels, and it was very odd. I'm not gonna lie, because like I do a lot of panels, and um it was weird being the topic of a panel. Like I had a lot of imposter syndrome about
Okay.
that, you know, like
Okay.
I was just like, you know, because all of the questions, like there were questions like, well, how has Halloween Man been an influence on your work? What is Drew's writing, you know, on this? You know, like they were like these cerebral
Oh,
type
wow.
questions, but they were also about me, and they were asking them to some other people. It was like they were asking something that they should be asking them while I was not in the room, but I was in the room. And not
Got
only was
you.
I in the room, but there was like 150 to 200 other people in the room. And it was, so it was just, it was weird. It was very awesome, but it was also one of the oddest moments of
Got you.
my life, because like, you know, I logically, I know lots of, at this point, lots of people read Halloween Man, but
Mhm.
in my head, I still think like, well, I'm putting it out there, and there's only like four people that read it, and one of them is my mom. You know, like that's how I
That's
still think.
like, is that still, that's really still your mind? Like, to me, I find it interesting because I've heard a lot of celebrities say that they still get like stage fright right before they go out. And I'm just like, Cindy Lauper was on Norton Graham, and she was doing her farewell tour, and she had talked about how it makes her like nauseated and she's been doing it. So you have that same experience, is what I'm
Oh yeah,
hearing.
yeah. And I don't think there really is a type of creator that doesn't feel that. You know, like, and you know, if they do exist, they're like a unicorn. Like I have never met anyone that doesn't get some form of imposter syndrome or some form of stage fright or both. And I, you know, in some ways I'm kind of glad I still feel that way, because it keeps me sharp.
Mhm.
You know, one of the things about putting this omnibus together of like the older Halloween Man stuff is that I had to go back and I had to really look at like a bunch of my older writing, and you know, like I was, it, again, causes a lot of strong visceral reaction, and you know, I think uh having a certain degree of detachment and humility about your own work always will keep you trying to improve to be better. Like if you are uh I don't know, like if you're selling out arenas like you're Taylor Swift or something, it's
Mhm.
probably still best to think of yourself as a garage band, because
Yeah.
you'll work that much harder.
Okay. Um, is this the first time that you've done a panel on just Halloween Man?
It's the first time that the panel, so obviously I've done panels where Halloween Man has been a topic of discussion. This is the first time I've really done a panel where Halloween Man is like the focus in this kind of context, is like something that is considered important to the form of comics. And um again, I'm aware of the passage of time. I know that I've been doing this a lot. I know a lot of people have cut their teeth on this comic.
Yeah.
But I still think of myself as, you know, the punk kid that's, you know, making comics, and I'm taking them up to the local Kinkos and like Xeroxing them and stapling them together. And, you know, so to have the biggest comic book convention in the world reach out to me and say, we think this milestone is important. We want to honor it. We want to put the focus on you and what you've accomplished. That is, I mean, that might as well be an award, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
pretty big feather in its cap right there. And then getting to kind of gate crash the Eisner after party. It just, because the panel was actually literally called Halloween Man 25 years of punk rock comics. And so I
Wow.
was like, well, the most punk rock thing we can do is
Crash. Yeah.
sneak into this party. And you know, nobody acted like we weren't supposed to.
And that's the
Um,
important part, right? Now you hear 25 years. when you first started Halloween Man, did you think or did you feel like you had this hit on your hands? Or was it just a punk kid creating because he's creative?
You know, the reason why I came up with Halloween Man was simply because I was tired of seeing the monster get killed at the end of the monster movie. But what it ended up meaning, because while I was in the process of creating it, I was in a car crash that killed my twin. And I believe I've talked about this
Mhm.
on the show
Mhm.
before. So I won't, you know, emphasize it too much because I know it bums everybody out. But what it meant to me then was it gave me something to like focus, and it gave my life direction. It wasn't about legacy building. I never thought, I thought, well, gee, it'll be nice if 100 people read this. Like that was really, and that just seemed like an impossible number of people at that point, was like 100. And, like now I'm looking at, tens of thousands of, God knows how many people that have read it. And it's not like it was a hit overnight. Like
Mhm.
every year it was like a very much a grassroots word of mouth, kind of thing. Because like the funny thing is when I first put it out, it got very negative reviews. Like one of the things that really have like stuck with me is I still remember one comic book critic read it when it was still in its webcomic form, and they were like, well, this is just a very poor attempt to rip off Hellboy. And first of all, I did not really read Hellboy.
Yeah.
I can safely say Hellboy was not an influence on me. I think Mike Mignola and I have a lot of the same influences as authors, but it was definitely not, what I always say is like
Yeah.
that just goes to show you I wasn't ripping off Hellboy. I was ripping off Vampire Hunter D. I was ripping off Stanley and Jack Kirby doing Fantastic Four. I was ripping off, Evil Dead. I was ripping off Darkman. Like there was all these other things that to me were much more clear. But
Yeah.
it just goes to show you that like people you know didn't initially get it, and then it was kind of over time the where you would find people who were kind of on they saw themselves as a misfit. They saw themselves as someone who had been othered, or kind of on the fringes of society, and those were the people that started to lift it up and pass it around. And then suddenly it started to get good word of mouth and good reviews, and that kind of thing. But it was we could call it a 20-year success story because it wasn't an overnight success.
Mhm.
And in fact, I don't think anybody took Halloween Man particularly seriously, despite the caliber of some of the artists that have worked on it, until I won a Best of Austin award in 2018. That was like a
Wow.
very, sort of a barnstorming moment where people were like, okay, here's some validation. Here's other
Mhm.
people saying this is good. We
Yeah.
like this. And then after that, it was after that that I was nominated for, a Ringo Award like twice. Didn't win, but the fact that, I was on, the same list of names as people like Ed Brubaker, like suddenly, something that I've been saying a lot since what the thing that was great about San Diego, kind of coming back to the concept of Halloween Man as a hit. I went to San Diego thinking like, well, I'm a big deal in Austin. Like I'm not dense. I know that in Austin I am a local celebrity, and that has a certain degree of cachet with it. People know who I am here. I'm the hometown hero. But I didn't think that was going to translate to California, because I've done San Diego Comic Con before, and I was thinking, well, I'm a big fish in a small pond, but I'm about to go into the ocean, and no one's going to know who I am. But when I was in San Diego, what I very quickly found is everybody knows who I am. I am not anonymous. And it kind of recontextualized my self-worth. Like I my self-esteem has been really good because of that,
Mhm.
because I was like, okay, I haven't been just kind of firing blind into the night. Like, people do know what this is. People do like it, and they do want to support it. And so now, almost 25 years, 25 years in October, now I kind of have to accept that I have a hit on my hands, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, what do I do next? I took 25 years was my warm up, now I have to follow that. And I suddenly have to live the life of lauded, critically acclaimed, and
Yeah.
respectable author, which
Yeah.
are never things I thought of myself as.
But it's true, you are these things, and it's pretty cool just to hear you say these things and see the expression on your face too, because it's genuine, you know. You don't I known you for a while now,
Yeah,
and you never had that high and mightiness of that other people have. You're just, you know, Drew having fun creating comics, and it's just
I that is the most important thing to me still, because, like, if if you're it's comic books. Like, if you're not putting something out there that's fun, if you're not having fun making them, then what's the point? And I I don't, while my self-esteem is better, my goal is to still stay as humble as I possibly can, and keep a blue collar attitude, and keep, I as we are noted, I am notably in a lot of people's minds a snappy dresser, but I always wear work boots, no matter what I outfit I have on, for the most part. Like, every now and then, like at the Ringo Awards, I wore some very nice ostrich skin cowboy boots. That was an exception, because it was, a
yeah.
nice award show. But for the most part, when people meet me, no matter what I'm wearing, I have Wolverine brand work boot, steel toed boots on, because that is a reflection of how I see myself. I see myself as I don't think of myself as a boss. I think of myself as a worker, working in this art. It's an art form, but like, at the same time, like, I'm also, you know up until a few years ago, I always had a day job, and even now, extra money, I'm gonna hop in my car and I'll go find
Mhm.
ways to make it. That's how I see myself, and that's how I think of myself, and that's gonna keep me humble, no matter what happens next. Which still, still has a big question mark around it, but I'm cautiously optimistic about the future.
Well, that's good that you're optimistic about it, even if it's cautiously.
Right.
So what made you decide to, was it the 25th anniversary that you was like, oh, it's coming up, let me put everything in volume one? Or was it just like, no, I have this whole collection, let me just volume it?
Well, so I met Scott from Red Five Comics at Comic Palooza here in Texas. I want to say 2 years, 2 years, maybe 1 year. It was a while back, and we talked to each other, and he was interested in getting in the Halloween Man business, and it had been a while since I had worked with another publisher. I had just been kind of putting things out myself, but he has distribution through Simon and Schuster, and I really was wanting to kind of broaden my base, really expand it. And one thing, everybody and their sister, their brother, their aunt, their uncle, whatever, something that a bunch of people have been telling me for years is, like, you have this huge back catalog. You should go back, pick out the best stuff, and do like a remastered omnibus, because that would be, a great jumping on point for people. And
Mm,
I was actually very hesitant, at least until, like,
mm,
it got to a point where it was like an absurd number of people telling me that I should do this. And, so I said to Scott, I was like, well, do you want to do a total, just a total reboot of Halloween Man? Do you want to do like Halloween Man year one, or do you want to do this? And I said,
Mhm.
there's positives to both, but which sounds better? And he was like, well, with the 25th anniversary coming up, it was actually him saying, with the 25th anniversary coming up, it would actually be great to do the omnibus idea, especially since that's a really good jumping on point. And if it's successful, which we all hope it is, um we can, next year we can do volume 2, volume 3, volume 4. You get the idea, because we now have, we have over 2 decades of
Yeah.
material that has mostly just been read online. I mean, I've put out some print editions, but it hasn't. The last time we had a very broadly released print thing was over 16 years ago, when we did the
Wow.
crossover with X Slash. And even that's looking pretty long in the tooth by now. That was put out by Image Comics, which was cool, but we haven't really stepped up into that mainstream arena again since then. It's just been, me slugging it out on either Comixology or Global Comics, and then I'll print something out and I'll sell it on through an online store. But people have made it very clear that they want this accessible. They want to be able to get it at the great thing about working with Red 5 is, like, people could order this at a comic book shop, they could order
Mhm.
it at their bookstore, they could order it at Target or Walmart. They can walk
Oh,
in
wow.
to a Target and say, okay, Target manager or Target clerk or whatever, you're going to order this graphic novel, and they'll carry it because it's distributed by Simon and Schuster. And that is giving us the potential for the broadest audience we have ever had in print. And I really, really hope that it is successful. And it may be one of those things that we have to do a lot of call to action and say, tell your friends friends, tell all your relatives,
Yeah.
have them go and order this book. But um the potential is there, and obviously it's something that people, you give the people what they want, and
Mhm.
so enough people have asked about it, so we're doing it.
That's exciting. It's exciting to hear that it's gonna be available in so many places now, that you can actually go and order it. How how excited are you that it's like that that big of an audience now? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, like how thrilled are you about this?
10, but with the caveat that it also keeps me up at night, because I have
Why?
I have the potential for reaching all those people, but now I have to figure out ways to, like, the Halloween Man faithful, like, they're gonna go out, they're gonna spread
Mhm.
the word, they're gonna do their part. I'm going to be on your show. Like, I know the people that are part of the cult following that this comic
Mhm.
has will do their part, but it's the reach those new people. That's the part
Okay.
that
Okay.
scares me. Because, like, I don't really, I'm doing market research. I'm doing things I never thought. Like, I feel like such an adult, I've done market research. I now know, uh, in theory, according to market research, what the average age group of my readership
Oh,
is,
wow.
like the ratio of men to women, like all these kinds of things that I never thought I would have to look into. Because my idea of market research used to be, was I at a con, did I see a guy in an Army of Darkness t-shirt, okay, I'm gonna try and sell to that guy. Oh, there's a goth chick over there, I bet you I can sell it there. Like, that was my old idea of market research. Now I'm doing honest to god, like, adult market research, and that's the intimidating part. But it's also fun, it's also exciting. Like, it's not, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. It's just
No, no.
it's it's
I get
it's
it.
it's labor, but it's also exciting labor, because it's like, here's my sort of I've raised my monster up and now I can let it go rampage.
No, I completely understand because it's also new territory for you. You know, it's something
Exactly.
that you haven't done before. And I get that level of, nervousness, I would say, of, the unknown. But because it has a success and it has a following, and it's true, like people like myself, like not only just because you're on my show, I like the book and I tell people about it, especially if I know that they're into like horror and like, scary stuff. But even even though it's not like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like it will do good. Um, you just gotta, I can't wait till it comes out. So, what is the release date on that?
So the release date is September 30th, so not that far away. Just in time for the Halloween season. However, I am able to sell it early at shows. So anytime
Oh,
between anytime you run into me at a convention or a vendor show or a book signing or anything the next month, I'm going to have copies on hand
got it.
because
Okay.
we are aggressively pushing this. And also anything, even if you can't find me, if you go to an event and Red 5 Comics is there, like for example, they just did
Oh,
the Houston Horror Film Festival, and they were there selling Halloween Man. So
got it. Okay.
it's out there and you can get it that way. You can, or you can pre-order it on Amazon. There are so many ways to get this thing. But yeah, the actual street date, September 30th, just a
Okay.
couple days after my birthday.
Oh,
And yeah, I know, right? And it's exciting, like I'm kind of like counting the days till then. Like it's gonna be crazy.
yeah. I know. You sound like it, and it's a great birthday gift to yourself too. By the way, like what a better way to give yourself a gift than to the release of this omnibus. Now, how hard was it for you to pick out certain stories to go into this volume, or was it? Do you already know, like, no, these are the stories I need in
Well,
here?
there were certain things that were shoe-ins, like all of Nicholas Scott's Halloween Man stories are in this. The hack slash crossover is in it, like, and that stuff, like, that was without question going in, because like that's stuff that people, they want that stuff. And but there was like some of the other stories like that were less obvious, like there's one story in there called God of Machines, and it's a personal favorite of mine. The artist on it, Holland King, he's you know very, very talented. And in fact, I always felt like he should have had a better career. He should have been gone on to have like a Nicholas Scott type career. Like
Wow.
he's just very talented in my opinion. And aside from that, it's one of the funnier Halloween Man stories, because in it, Halloween Man is he's going to stop a gang of robots who are dabbling in the occult, and they're summoning up the first robot from hell, who is a half robot, half demon, half frog type creature. Because I have a terrible phobia of frogs. True story. This is what's going to happen now is a bunch of people are going to start coming up to me at conventions with frogs. I look what I just brought on myself, but and I just have always loved this story, and it ends with Solomon talking about how he feels like he's the universe's garbage man while he's eating a rat in
Mm,
an alley. And to me,
wow.
that it's grotesque, but it's funny. It's also very blue collar. It's a lot of the stuff that I think summarizes Halloween Man as a comic, but also Halloween Man specifically, like Solomon as a character. To me, the sort of I'm the universe's janitor kind of vibe of this story is like it's just the character to me. So like that was sort of the things that I was looking for. There was some other things like one of the other story. Well, the story that we end the omnibus on is a story called Solomon X, and it's a semi sequel to the Hack Slash crossover. So that's why is in there, because it's kind of a curio, because I don't think people realize that there was a kind of a sequel to the Hack Slash crossover. So like those were kind of the decision makings. It was either, does this say something in particular about the characters that I think it's important, or is this offbeat and something that people probably didn't know existed that we can now showcase? So those were the two sort of rationales on how selecting stories would go. But obviously, we want to do a volume 2, because there's a lot of
Mhm.
stuff that we, even at a 200 being a 200-page book, this thing, it's a beast. It's massive. Like I just got my copies from Red 5 the other day, and I not to brag, but I'm a fairly physically strong guy, but when I picked up this box, like I could feel it in my back. So these are big, thick
Like,
books, and
that's
yet there is
exciting.
still a ton of stuff that we have not been able to include in it. And so I want that volume 2. I want that volume 3. Like I want to be able to get to all the stories that I think would go great in that, and I want to
Yeah.
continue to be able to introduce more and more people to these characters, because I think um it's their time. It's not a rip off of Hellboy.
Not.
By the end of this omnibus, you'll be like, screw that guy.
Yeah, for real.
I'm team Halloween man.
Yeah. And speaking of the characters and having their moments to shine, as we've discussed many times, one of the characters is based off of your wife. Um, by any chance, are any of the characters going to be based off your daughter anytime soon, or has it already happened?
That is the most asked question of 2025, is there going to be a baby in the comic sometime soon? And the funny thing is I did not Solomon and Lucy's baby. I did, in one of the web comics on Global Comics, I did just introduce a baby character in the Bella comic, but I wrote that years ago. It has nothing to do
Oh,
with the birth of my daughter.
okay.
I just, with that, it was simply, it would be an interesting direction, is putting the most irresponsible character and giving them the most responsibility, and
Okay.
that is really that. But as far as Solomon and Lucy actually having a kid that is theirs, and is going to be a big part of the comic in that way, yes, that is something that
Yay.
I am exploring the the best way to do it. But I have a version of what their kid would be like already
Got
worked
it.
out. And
Okay.
I have the plot. Like what I've been doing is actually deep diving a lot into. People are going to think this is very strange, but here's a little scoop for your podcast.
Yay.
So people will know this story when they start to see it. Is I'm deep diving a lot into the mythology of the man and the moon, and the birth of their
Oh,
daughter is going to have to do with the man and the moon. So when you see that start to play out, maybe you'll know. But this is probably going to be real
okay.
talk, like the actual production. Like I'm still trying to, they just got engaged a few
Yeah.
comic book
Yeah.
time. They just got engaged. I still have to do the wedding issue. I can't have like a pregnancy
They
issue.
can't have a shotgun wedding. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could do it out of order.
No.
But like I everything I've been writing has been building towards a wedding issue. So it's uh, Luna, our daughter, was a wonderful surprise, and
Yes.
so now I'm going to have to figure out with the semi biographical nature of Halloween Man. I'm going to have to figure out how to work parenthood into
Into all
it.
of it. Into all of it. That's I think it's pretty cool because it also, what is it, life imitating art or art imitating life kind of a thing. You have good source material within your own life. The good, the bad, and the ugly of it all, pun
Yeah.
intended. Because, you know, but so you've got volume one, you want volume two and three, you said. Um, what's next after the volumes? Have you gotten that far yet?
So I'm still producing digital comics. In October, aside from the physical release of Halloween Man Omnibus Volume 1, on Global Comics, there are still new comics coming out. There's going to be Halloween Man Entropy is finally going to be put out in its entirety, but also we are doing another Jam comic like what we did for the 20th
Oh,
anniversary.
yes.
We're doing
Okay.
another one of those for the 25th anniversary, which is going to be released the week of Halloween, and that one's going to be called Chorus.
Oh,
And
no. Okay.
you'll see why, because when I wrote the script, you can't create a musical in comics, but this was me trying to in vain create a musical in a comic, which made it weirdly appropriate
Okay.
for a jam comic style.
Okay.
Wonderful experience working on that. Aside from the Halloween Man universe, which is just going to keep growing and growing and
Mhm.
growing. In November, like the day after Halloween, we are launching a Kickstarter for the other comic that you and I were just talking about with my co-collaborators, the Matron. We're launching
Yes.
a Kickstarter for the Matron Volume 2. So
Oh, yay.
thank you. The universe of the Matron is also going to continue to expand. So now I have two universes that I'm
Yeah.
juggling. It's a little cool. It's a little weird.
You're a busy, busy, busy creator.
Ugh.
Um,
And a dad. How do
and
I
a
do it?
dad, and a dad, and a husband, and you're living your own life and Ubering.
And Ubering. Well,
And Ubering.
I'm hoping the Ubering will be temporary.
So the first volume, any other projects that are coming out like soon other than the matron and this volume, this first volume?
So Halloween Man Entropy in September, Halloween Man
September.
Chorus in October, both of those on Global Comics, Halloween Man Omnibus Volume 1 through Red 5 Comics, physical, very heavy,
Yeah.
practically, a phone book. That comes out late September. You can get it, as we've discussed,
Everywhere. Yeah.
everywhere.
As soon as we get off of here, I'm
And
going on
yeah,
Amazon and pre-ordering
yeah.
it. Like it's done.
And the matron through Kickstarter, but pretty soon the matron's going to be invading comic book stores as well via Lunar distribution, but
Okay.
that is not until 2026, assuming the rest
Okay.
of the planet is still here.
It's yeah, facts, facts. So you've got something pretty much every month, basically, from here on out. Like
Oh
that's
yeah, oh yeah. I have project. I'm sure we're going to end up doing an interview, but I have a way into the future. I actually have a Christmas related project.
oh wow.
So like I'm just trying to slowly kill myself
No,
through writing.
no, not not the blisters on the finger from writing. Stop. I love it. No, and that's exciting though. I'm happy that you have so many things coming out. Because a lot of people are working towards these kinds of lifestyles. Um, it's not easy. Um, definitely a lot of hard work and dedication goes into it, but you're proof that all of that does pay off, with the
Persistence
satis
matters.
yeah, and I mean, you had San Diego Comic Con call you for crying out loud. Like, not a lot of people can say that San Diego Comic Con called them. You know what I mean? And that's something definitely to be proud of. Um, that they even know, like, hey, by the way, we know that 25th anniversary of Halloween Man is up. We would love for you to do a panel. Like, that's, everybody has different ideas of success, what success looks like, and some people have to rethink about what their success looks like. To me,
I know I know for me personally, the first time I knew there was pornographic fan fiction of Halloween, man. That was
that's
it
how you
to
knew you
me.
made it.
I was like, never mind, I can just die now.
Yeah, it's just a
So
fan
slash
fiction.
slash fiction. That's that's
The
that's
triple
where the aim
X
was.
rated fan fiction. Like, I love that for you. No, and I mean, some people, to me, I think that's so cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people would be like, "That's weird." Not me. I'm just like, that's cool. Because
I
again, it's different levels of success and different ideas of what success is.
I was flattered by that the same way that I was flattered the first time I saw a cosplayer, like it's just because I that is the stuff that I do associate with success in comics on it. Like all joking aside, like, cosplayers, fan fiction, all that sort of interaction with fans, that is really, that's the stuff that makes you realize, oh, something I made mattered enough to another person that they wanted
Yeah.
to go out and make something be it oh, that's something I should plug. We are having a fan art contest. See, there you go. We
Oh wow!
finally,
Yay!
yeah, there is a fan art contest through my Instagram, which is Drew_Halloween on Instagram, and is very simple. The rules are very simple. You pick a character from the Halloween Man universe, you draw your version of them. You can either PM me with the drawing or email it to me at drewedwards@gmail.com. Um, but you have to post it on Instagram. Like
Okay.
you that post it on Instagram, tag me in on it. And then on September 30th, that is the cutoff date. So you still have a lot of time, but we started to have
Yeah.
stuff come in. You can see some of that on my Instagram. But yeah, that, and you can win yourself some Halloween Man swag, including a signed copy of the Halloween Man omnibus signed by this Uber driver right here.
Ooh, I wish I knew how to draw and enter. What can friends and family enter? Like, it's good. Friends and family can enter, right?
Friends and
I guess
family can
somebody.
enter.
Okay,
It's all fair.
I
It's all
can't
fair
draw,
game.
but
Like throw down. It's like I want to see everybody's version. So far, also I got to say, everybody's drawing Lucy. I get why she's real pretty. I get it. She's got great hair.
yeah,
She probably smells better than Solomon, but some of
but
you should try your hands at a Solomon or
yeah,
two. Like
yeah.
I think that we gotta balance the things out. Like you said, the good,
Hmm.
the bad, and the ugly.
I'm gonna see if my husband will enter for the both of us,
Do it. Do
because
it.
he can draw. I cannot, unfortunately, I cannot. But it looks like we've come to the end of the time. All the links to everything that Drew has mentioned is down in the description below. Go give him a follow. Go pre-order it, because I'm doing it as soon as we are done here. I'm pre-ordering Halloween Man Volume 1, the omnibus on. I'm doing it on Amazon. Wherever you guys do it, just do it. That's the important part. And Drew, thank you so much for being on my show. I always appreciate it
It's always so
when
much
you don't
fun.
want to appear. So like, it just warms my heart. So
Well,
thank
thank you.
you. Yay, that's it. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Sweet. Thank you again to Drew for stopping by to discuss his latest project, Halloween Man Volume 1. Again, all the links are going to be in the description below. And if you enjoyed the interview with Drew, you'll enjoy this interview next.